Om. 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 Om Sahanao Avatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Today's session is a continuation from the last week. And last week we discussed and we explored a very important topic, Param Purusharth, which is the supreme goal of human life. The word Purusharth is a Sanskrit compound. Purush means being and Arth means a goal, something we desire to achieve. So Purusharth means the goal that every human being seeks. Now you may feel that different people seem to have different goals. One person wants wealth, another wants knowledge, another seeks fame, and someone else desires a peaceful family life. A businessman might aim to earn more profits. A teacher may wish to gain more knowledge and share it with others. Although the goals appear different, the inner motivation behind all of them is the same. That common universal goal is everyone wants to be happy and free from sorrow. This is not something someone taught us. It is built into our very nature. We naturally seek happiness, not just any happiness, but complete happiness. That's what I was repeating last week as well. And I'm repeating this again. Not just any happiness, but complete happiness. So it means there is a difference between happiness and complete happiness. And the kind that is long lasting, it should be deep, and it should be satisfying. Now, as children, remember how we used to enjoy eating ice cream? Some of us ate quickly and looked at others whose ice cream was still remaining. We wanted the joy to last longer. This shows something very deep. Even as children, we were seeking longer happiness, not just momentary joy. And this is not unique to you or me. This is universal, meaning you want this happiness, he wants it, she wants it, everyone, everywhere wants it. And because this deep and lasting happiness is our most natural and universal goal, we give it a special name. Parama Purusharth means the supreme human goal. The desire for happiness is natural and does not need to be taught. But how to get that happiness? That is where our thinking, effort, and guidance come in. Now, let me take it through a little story of childhood. As a child, I once saw a shopkeeper selling cashew nuts, chocolates, and all kinds of tasty snacks. So I thought to myself, when I grow up, I will become a shopkeeper. Then I can enjoy all these things whenever I want. Later, I saw a policeman on the road and I saw everyone respecting him. Then I thought, no, I want to become a policeman. Later, still, on a school trip to the airport, I saw a smart pilot walking by and I said to myself, that is it. I will be a pilot. Now, do you see what is happening in the life? The goal is always the same, to be happy. But the means to reach that goal keeps changing based on what we think will give us that happiness. This is a very important lesson. We all want the same thing. And what is that? Complete happiness. But we are trying to achieve it in different ways. Some of these ways only give us temporary relief. We call these short term pleasures preyas, which means the pleasant or attractive path. Now, new word I'm using, preyas, which means the pleasant or attractive path, but it gives temporary relief. Now, let me explain you with an example. Suppose someone has malaria. You give them a paracetamol tablet. What happens? The fever reduces temporarily, but next day it comes back again. The tablet gives relief, but not a cure. The real cure is to treat the disease from the root. See how I'm taking step by step to explain you here. Now we are talking pray yes. In the same way, many things in life, tea, coffee, new clothes, entertainment, they give us temporary relief. But does that solve our deep inner longing for lasting joy? Relief is not the same as solution, which I mentioned about malaria. What is temporary cannot cure what is permanent. So now we are talking temporary and permanent things. So remember this, if you are chasing prey, yes, you are only putting a band aid on a deep wound. All of us love new things, a new dress, a new phone, a new job, etc. These make us feel good for a while, but later we feel the need for something new again. And why? Because we did not get complete happiness. And the reason is what we get by action or effort is always limited by time. Very important point for you to note. What we get by action or effort is always limited by time expiry date. Anything that starts in time will end in time. For example, this session started at 7 p.m. and it will also end. This body was born and one day it will pass. So any happiness that comes from outside things will also end. So what do we need then? We want complete happiness. We talked about prayers, which is a temporary solution. We need a different kind of happiness. One that does not come and go. A happiness that is not gained but is already within us. Now you should understand very clearly what I'm talking and see how things are. We need a different kind of happiness, one that does not come and go, a happiness that is gained but is already within us. So, which means we already have something and we are looking for it. This is where Vedas come in. The Vedas are a means of knowledge. They guide us, educate us, and help us understand the real nature of happiness. The Upanishads, the highest part of the Vedas, tell us Nasti akritaha kriten, Nasti akritaha kriten. You cannot reach the permanent by doing something temporary. And here is the breakdown. Nasti means there is not, which means does not exist. Akrtaha, not done, undone. Kraten, by what is done. Now let us understand this. If you do something to get happiness, the result will be temporary. If you do something to get happiness, the result will be temporary because action produces results that are born in time. And what is born in time will end in time. Law of the nature. So the solution is not to try to get happiness from outside, but to discover the happiness that is already your true nature. That discovery, that inner understanding, that transformation is called Shreyas. So we now have two new words today. Prayas, temporary solution. Shreyas, permanent solution. This is the shift we need to make in life. From chasing prayers to embracing Shreyas. So before moving further, let us just try to summarize all these things so far. Purusharth means goal of human life. Though everyone seems to have different goals, but the real goal is the same: lasting happiness and freedom from sorrow. Number three, that universal goal is called Parama Purusharth, supreme goal of life. Number four, we often take the path of prayas, which is short term pleasure, which gives only temporary relief. Point number five, the real solution is Shreyas, the path of lasting joy and permanent fulfillment. Point number six, Vedas, especially Vedant, guide us toward Shreyas by helping us realize that true happiness is not gained but discovered within. So, true happiness is not gained but discovered within. That's why we do not lose it. Now, this is very important for you. Whatever I'm explaining, I'm trying to go step by step. So, something may confuse you while you're listening or while you're reading yourself. So please write down your questions. And in further sessions, if those questions are not answered, please raise it either in the group or you just write me an email. Now, the topic is the deeper meaning of happiness in spiritual life. We discussed about happiness and then we said we want complete happiness, permanent happiness. Now, let us reflect deeply on something that touches every human heart. Everyone in this world, without exception, wants to be happy, whether they are rich or poor, educated or uneducated, young or old. This is the common desire of all beings. From morning till night, knowingly or unknowingly, people are running here and there in search of happiness. They work hard, build relationships, earn money, pursue dreams, and even compete with others, all for the sake of being happy. At the same time, no one wants to suffer. People do everything they can to avoid sorrow, pain, or disappointment. Even when someone prayers, what are they really asking for? They pray for peace, joy, comfort, and the removal of pain. In this way, the desire for happiness and freedom from sorrow, which is the same thing, the desire for happiness and freedom from sorrow becomes the core desire behind all other desires. Now, let us ask an important question. Is the happiness we are chasing in the outer world true happiness? Or is there a deeper meaning to happiness in the spiritual sense? In Sanskrit, the ancient and sacred language of spiritual wisdom, the word for true happiness is Anand. This word carries a meaning much deeper than just pleasure or comfort. It is not the same as the joy that comes and goes based on situations. Anand is a state of inner bliss, unchanging peace, and contentment that does not depend on external things. Worldly happiness is temporary. When something good happens, we feel happy. But when it disappears, our happiness also disappears. This kind of joy is always mixed with fear, fear of losing it. That is why saints and wise once tell us to seek not just happiness, but true anand, true bliss, which is the bliss of the soul, the bliss of our real self. Anand is not something we gain from outside. It is already within us, available all the time, because our true nature, our divine essence, our Atman is pure, peaceful, and full of bliss. But we have forgotten this truth. Like a person who searches for their glasses while already wearing them, we are searching outside for something that is already inside. To understand this more clearly, think of the sun hidden behind clouds. Visualize the sun is always shining, but we cannot see it because of the covering of clouds. In the same way, Anand is always present within our heart, but it is hidden by the clouds of desire, attachment, ego, and ignorance. In total, we call that vasanas. When these clouds are cleared through spiritual wisdom, self discipline, devotion, and meditation, the inner light of bliss begins to shine. The whole thing is causal body. So now remember, real happiness is not just about feeling good for a moment. Real happiness or anand is unchanging, deep, and spiritual. It is not created or destroyed, it is discovered. It is found in silence, in surrender, and in knowing who you truly are. This is the purpose of the spiritual path. to move from temporary pleasures to permanent bliss. Temporary pleasures prey us. The word can give us comfort, but only the inner self can give us liberating happiness, shreyas, permanent bliss. Let us begin our journey inward, step by step, with courage and faith. For the one who seeks the truth within, Anand is not far away. So let us move on now. Try to go more in deep understanding. I used last week word Brahman. And Brahman we say it is absolute truth, complete, supreme consciousness. Nirgun. Therefore, Brahman is not to be attained, which I said, Braham Prapti. Brahm means Brahman here, and Prapti means attain, attainment. It is to be realized. Now, in when we are explaining these deep words, we start from the level one and then start explaining more in detail. And that's what we did. We said first, Brahma Prapti. Now we are going to elaborate more on that. Why we said, what does it mean? Because Brahm, you cannot attain it. Now, today I will tell you about something very sacred, Brahman, the absolute truth, your own deepest self. Now, many seekers ask, Brahm Prapti, how can I attain Brahman? Because generally people they say, I want to attain Brahman. They say, okay, how can I attain Brahman? But now listen very carefully. Brahman is not something to be attained like any object or a destination. Brahman is to be realized. Like the sun hidden behind the clouds. The sun never left the sky. You simply did not see it clearly. Just like that, Brahman is always present. Brahman, we are talking supreme consciousness. You have only forgotten your true nature. The nature of attainment and loss. What does it mean? Anything that can be attained can also be lost. If you attain something new, it means it was not yours before. So if Brahman were something to be attained, it would mean Brahman is outside you, means different from you. But the Upanishads declare with great clarity that Tvam Asi, you are that or that you are. You're not becoming Brahman. You're already that Brahman. You are just unaware of it due to the veil of ignorance, avidya. Once this ignorance is removed, You do not gain anything new. You just realize what was already true. And that's what we are trying to do here. Why Brahman cannot be attained? Let us understand more in deeper. As I mentioned before, that Brahman is not an object like a house or a fruit. It is not somewhere far away like a distant land. It is your innermost self, pure consciousness, unchanging, eternal. So, how can you attain your own self when you are that? It is like a person who has forgotten that they are wearing glasses and searches everywhere for them. Finally, someone points it out and says, "Look, they are already on your nose." That is the nature of Brahman. It is never absent. It is you. And the next topic is the problem with the word Brahma Prapti. This is what I'm coming back again. The word Brahma Prapti. Some scriptures use the word Brahm Prapti, which means attainment of Brahman. Now it should be very clear to you. How can you attain Brahman? Because you are already Brahman. But this word can be misunderstood if taken literally. That's what people they do. When you read scriptures, people they just take as it is written and they try to understand and they believe that this is what the truth is. We have to think deeply and take the spiritual meaning. It may make us believe that Brahman is far away and needs to be brought close. That's what attainment means. But this is only a way of speaking, explaining, a way of guiding the beginner. I give this example all the time. When you're learning, this is a totally a very vast new subject, spirituality, scriptures we are reading. And when we are starting from lower KG and we want to become a doctor or PhD, we have to go stage by stage. And that's what we are doing here. In truth, Brahma Prapti means recognizing that there is no separation between you and Brahman. The attainment is only the removal of the false idea that you are limited, small, and separate. Brahman now witnessing the truth. Again, Brahman is not a thing to be seen. It is the seer, the witness, the one who is aware of all things. When you are happy, it is Brahman who knows that feeling. When you are sad, it is Brahman who is aware of the sorrow. Now, this paragraph is very, very important to understand deeply. Now, here I'm referring only one individual. When you're happy, it is Brahman who knows that feeling. When you're sad, it is Brahman who is aware of the sorrow. but we all are interconnected. So it means there is one supreme consciousness which knows about everything for everyone. Brahman does not come and go. It is like space present everywhere, and space is also within Brahman, but untouched by anything. It is like the screen on which movie plays. The screen allows all images to appear, but it is never affected by the story. You are that silent witness that is Brahman, like the screen on the movie. Now let us try to go more deeper. Brahman and illusion, which we call Maya. Maya is nothing actually, it's a very word we have taken in a very big way and it's very confusing. It's just an illusion, like a, um magician. When he shows you something, he's not doing any something like something which is not there. It was all there. He's just doing it in a way and becomes an illusion for us, and we think it's a magic. It's not magic. Then what is it that hides this truth from us? If it is not magic, it is Maya, illusion. Maya makes the rope appear as a snake in the dark when there is no complete light, like you know, little bit dark, little bit light only, and there you can't see the rope clearly. You imagine illusion. There is a snake. The snake never really existed, but you still feel afraid. In the same way, you believe yourself to be the body, the mind, the personality, but that is the illusion, your own illusion in the mind. The moment you bring light, the snake disappears. Snake was never there anyway. In the same way, when knowledge dawns, the illusion created by Maya disappears, and you realize I was always Brahman, I was never bound. So now we go more deeper. You are already that Brahman, Tat Tvam Asi. I tell you with love and certainty, you are already that Brahman. You do not need to become it. You do not need to travel anywhere. You only need to remove the false identification, the label, your thoughts in your mind, just like peeling away the layers of an onion. When all that is false is removed, what remains is your true nature, which is Brahman, the infinite, the pure, the free. You are not a small being trying to reach something great. You are the greatness itself, temporarily dreaming of limitation. Therefore, now you have to realize this tat tvam asi. You are that, or that you are. So now do not struggle, do not chase Brahman, simply turn inward, meditate, reflect, study the teachings, surrender the ego. And then rest in this understanding you are that tat tvam asi. You are not becoming Brahman. You are realizing that you are Brahman. And in this realization, all suffering ends, all seeking ends, only peace remains. Sit quietly with this truth. Let it soak deep into your heart. That is liberation, moksha, and that is wisdom. And what is the wisdom in Sanskrit? Vigyan. Now, I'm trying to explain more this concept of Brahman in deeper. Try to visualize now sun's rising and setting. It's a very simple truth. Please listen with a quiet and open heart now. I want to share with you a very simple truth, so simple, in fact, that people often overlook its deep meaning. For what? Sun's rising and sun's setting. You must have heard people say, the sun is rising or the sun is setting. It is a common way of speaking. But have you ever paused to think about it? Does the sun truly rise or set? The same way last week I explained Brahma Prapti, but today I clarified everything. And the same way the sun is rising or the sun is setting. What is the difference? Now let me explain it. The sun is always shining in the same place in the vast sky. Sun is never rising, never setting. It is always there in the same place in the sky. It neither goes up nor comes down. It does not move around us. Instead, it is we who are moving. When we say we are who are moving, our earth is rotating, turning slowly on its own axis. When our part of the earth turns toward the sun, we say the sun is rising. And when our part turns away from the sun, we say the sun is setting. But truth is this: the sun never leaves its position. It is constant, steady, always there, radiating light and warmth. So, why do we say the sun rises or sets? Because from where we are standing, it appears that way. Because our view is limited and we speak from our experience, from what our physical eyes can see. But the deeper truth lies beyond appearances. What looks like a sunrise or sunset is actually an illusion, Maya, created by the movement of the earth, not the sun. Now you must be thinking why I'm telling you all this. You already know everything very well. Because this simple observation holds a great spiritual lesson. Just as the sun is always present, the divine within you, your true self, is also always present, always shining with peace, clarity, and strength. But sometimes, due to the turning of the mind, due to thoughts, emotions, or situations, you feel like that inner light is rising or setting. Sometimes you feel joyful and full of light, and sometimes you feel lost in darkness. But remember this always: the inner self, like the sun, never goes anywhere. It is not absent during your difficult times. It is simply hidden by the rotation of your mind, by the clouds of your confusion, or the dust of worldly distractions. When your inner awareness turns toward your true self through quiet reflection, meditation, or deep understanding, you feel peace, clarity, and strength again. You say, "Oh, I feel connected." That is like your inner sunrise. And when your awareness turns away toward worries, attachments, or fear, you feel distant, restless, or empty. That is like your inner sunset. But again, this is only an illusion, Maya, avidya. The self, Atman, like the sun, has not changed or gone anywhere. It is you who have turned away. So learn to see beyond the appearance. When someone say the sun has set, smile gently and remember, no, the sun is still there. It is my position that has changed. Now, when you start thinking this way, you will always remember about your soul. When someone says the sun has set, smile gently and remember what you remember, the truth. No, the sun is still there. It is my position that has changed. In the same way, whenever you feel disconnected or disturbed, remember the light of my true self is still shining. I just need to turn inward again. This is the way of wisdom, Vigyan. Through this understanding, may we always remain centered in truth, calm, steady, and full of light like the ever shining sun. So, what is the message of today? Reflect on this deeply, and you will begin to see the world not as it appears, but as it truly is. And I always say the world is one. There is no change. The word is one. But if there are 1 billion population or 2 billion or 3 billion population, which means we have 3 billion heads, mind, 3 billion minds are there. It means there are 3 billions different perception of the same word. Now let us move more deeper now. The ignorant Jeev and the wisdom of Brahman. When I say ignorant Jeev, Jeev is the individual soul. Ignorant because of illusion. Let us reflect together upon a very deep truth, one that seems simple on the surface, but contains great wisdom when looked at with the eye of knowledge. I shall help you now to understand it through something you see every day, the rising and setting the sun. Same thing I'm going to explain you here. The ignorant jiva and his limited understanding. When a person is bound in ignorance, he is called an agyani, which means if I do not have a knowledge, people will call me agyani, one who does not yet see the truth. The only difference is this: like the sun rises, sun sets. This ignorant jeev sees the world only with the physical eyes, not with the eyes of knowledge. So when he looks up at the sky and sees the sun, he says the sun rises in the morning, or the sun sets in the evening. And he believes that the sun is actually moves up and down, rising from the east and setting in the west. Which does Why does he think so? Because that is what he perceives through his senses. And since he realizes only what his eyes show him, he becomes trapped in an illusion which we call Maya. So, who created this illusion? You yourself, your mind. This is how an ignorant jeev behaves in all parts of life. He sees pleasure and pain as real, birth and death as absolute, gain and loss as his own doing, body and mind as the self, the world as permanent. He does not know that just like the sun does not really rise or set, the self, Atman, never truly changes, moves, or dies. His knowledge is based on appearances, not on reality. His life becomes a cycle of confusion, emotions, fear, and desires. The wisdom of Brahman, the deeper truth of the sun. Let me share the vision of the wise, the vision of the rishis, the seers who have realized the Brahman, the supreme reality. The wise know this. The sun neither rises nor sets. It only appears to do so from the perspective of the earth. It is the earth that rotates. But because we are standing on the earth and looking at the sun from a limited position, it appears to us as if the sun is moving. In truth, the sun remains in its own steady position. This is exactly how Brahman, the Supreme Self, functions. It is motionless, yet the source of all movement. Changeless, yet the source of all change. Eternal, though forms appear and disappears within it. Just as the rising and setting of the sun is an illusion caused by our limited viewpoint, so too the changing world is an illusion which we call Maya, caused by ignorance, avidya, agyan. Brahman never acts. Remember this sentence, and we will use many times in Bhagavad Gītā. Brahman never acts, never moves, never changes. In one of the verse, Lord Krishna said, everything is within me, but I'm not in them. Yet all action, movement, and change appear in it. Realization transforms the vision. So once you realize now who you are, it will transform your vision. The ignorant jeev believes only what he sees. He is like someone who stands at the shores and thinks the sun falls into the ocean and sunset. The wise one, through contemplation and deep meditation, realizes the truth. He understands that the world of appearances is not the final reality. He knows the sun is steady, myself is steady. The world appears to change, but I, the witness, remain unchanged. This is the wisdom of the Upanishads. This is the teaching of the Bhagavad Gītā. And this is the very heart of Vedanta. Therefore, now from ignorance to awakening. When we connect the understanding of the ignorant Jeev with the wisdom of Brahman using the sun's rising and setting, we see what? The ignorant sees illusion as reality. But the wise sees reality behind the illusion. The ignorant sees sun rises, sun sets. But the wise sees sun never rises, sun never sets. Let your goal be to move from the viewpoint of the ignorant Jeev to the calm wisdom of the Brahmajnani. Let your mind become still like the unmoving sun, even while the world seems to move around you. Only then you will not be disturbed by success or failure, birth or death, gain or loss, because you will know that you are the light itself, not the shadows that come and go. And what is reflection for you? Am I seeing the world only through my senses or through the eyes of knowledge? What rising and setting? Experiences in my life are illusions caused by limited understanding. So you have to make your knowledge, your intellect strong, strength. Can I remain steady like the sun while the world rotates around me? May peace be upon you, within you, and around. I will take one more topic and then we will continue rest the next week. Clarification of the term Brahm Prapti. Again, I'm going for that more in detail. Brahm Prapti literally means attainment of Brahman. However, Brahman is nirgun, without attributes, nirakar, formless, avyaya, unchanging, and most importantly, your own true self, Atman, according to Advaita Vedanta. So, seeking Brahman as if it were an object to be gained, like wealth, status, or even a spiritual vision, is a misunderstanding. So, the deep truth, no attainment needed. When the scriptures speak of Brahma Prapti, they are not referring to gaining something new, but rather removing the ignorance, avidya, that makes you think you are not Brahman. You already are Brahman. The Upanishads declare Tat Tvam Asi, you are that, or that you are. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Therefore, Brahm Prapti is not an acquisition, but a recognition or realization of what is already true. Now, you will ask me why still use the word prapti, attainment? Then why we are using this word? This is due to upachara, figurative language, just as we say the sun rises, even though the sun never actually rises or sets. In the same way, we say Brahma Prapti, though Brahman is never distant from us. Now you know the difference? Shankaracharya clarifies this in many of his commentaries. Brahman is never an object of knowledge, but the self of the knower himself. The error of seeking. When we seek Brahman as a separate thing, we are still stuck in duality. Means I am here and Brahman is there. Mistaking Brahman as an object. Ignoring the truth that the seeker is the sought. This is why sages emphasize letting go of seeking, not by becoming inactive, but by purifying the mind. How you purifying the mind? Karma yoga, chitta shuddhi, practicing discrimination, vivek, cultivating detachment, vairagya, and meditating on one's own self until the illusion of separation falls away. Now, see this analogy. I already mentioned this thing. A man forgets that he's wearing his glasses and starts searching for them everywhere. Finally, someone tells him, "You are already wearing them," and stop searching. In the same way, Brahman is never something to get, it is what you already are. So let us summarize this one. Brahm Prapti is not gaining a new object. It is not an object. It is the removal of ignorance, avidya. Brahman is not separate from you. You are that, or that you are. Therefore, stop seeking in the outer world and start recognizing the truth within. Now, only 2 pages are left actually. I will cover this today as well, so have patience with me. Now, let me explain to you something very important about the Vedas, the ancient scriptures that are a source of deep wisdom and guidance in life. So, everything, all the scriptures, when we say we talk about Vedas, the Vedas are divided into three main sections, or what we call kandas. Kands. The word kand simply means section. So there are three sections of the Veda. Since there are three, we call this structure the Kand in Sanskrit, the threefold division of the Vedas. And these three sections are Karma Kand, the section that deals with actions, duties, and rituals. Upasana Kand, the section that deals with worship, meditation, and devotion. And the third one is Gyan Kand, the section that gives us knowledge, especially the knowledge of the self and the ultimate truth. So the Vedas we have divided into three kands or three sections. The first one is Karma Kand, second Upasana Kand, and the third one is Gyan Kand. Now listen carefully here. When a person wants to find true solution to life's problems, such as suffering, confusion, or the cycle of birth and death, The Vedas offer a complete roadmap, but the first step is preparation. Very important, preparation. Preparation is absolutely essential. Just like in any journey, before we reach the destination, we must pack our bags, plan the route, check the weather, and make sure we are ready to go. The actual travel might be short, but the planning takes most of the time. In the same way, spiritual knowledge cannot be gained without preparation. And the first two sections of the Vedas, and the first one is Karma Kand, and the second one is Upasana Kand, these are designed to prepare the mind. And why do we need preparation? Because an unprepared mind is full of confusion, restlessness, and attachments. Such a mind cannot grasp subtle thoughts, just as a shaky camera cannot take a clear picture. So, preparation is a must. Now, let me summarize again. The Karma Kand teaches us how to act properly, how to do our duties, and how to live a disciplined life. It purifies the mind. Karma Kand or Karma Yoga purifies the mind, Chitta Shuddhi, by making it less selfish and more focused. The Upasana Kand teaches us devotion and meditation. It makes the mind steady, single pointed, concentrated, and emotionally mature. And when these two are done, next one is Jnana Kand. But these two are preparatory steps. Now, I would suggest you to practice this, and let me conclude here. Om Purnamadaha Purnam Idam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.